Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I wanted to comment on the airport footage that's going on. This individual, Brandon Langley, who used to play for the Broncos at one point, um, got into an altercation with an employee at the airport, and there were, fist exchange, and the airport employee ended up bloody. Now, the footage that's going around initially that I saw started at a clip where the airport worker was stepping forward, acted like he wanted to start the process of fighting and then swung first. That's the footage that was going around initially. Now I've seen some footage that happened before that, that clips about maybe 37 seconds before that, and it shows Brandon Langley swinging and hitting this dude about 5 or 6 times before that clip that we see initially begins, where homeboy returns his swing. So for my already, I got questions about the situation because it's very clear to me that this is, um, you know how a lot of people like to say you're race baiting, or that they're trying to stir up nonsense with people to get them going. That's exactly what this is, because of what clip was released first, which would obviously paint a certain picture, and then what clip is released second, which would obviously paint a opposite picture. But what you also understand is that that clip too started after the altercation that it occurred, so it too can paint a picture of Brandon Langley being the aggressor, no different than the initial clip can paint the picture as the American Airlines associate being the aggressor. I think it's American Airlines, not certain. But the point is, both of those clips don't tell us what happened. Both of those clips don't tell us how the altercation started. Both of those clips don't tell us how the altercation ended. Both of those clips don't tell us who ultimately started swinging first. Did Brandon Langley get into a conversation with this individual that didn't go well and he started swinging, like the second clip shows us? Or did the associate initially start the fight and Brandon Langley was turning punches at that point, and then it became a situation where punches were thrown back? We don't know. We don't know because clips have been released in fragments that would basically paint a picture of both men and ultimately pin two sides who obviously look for reasons to fight with one another in most cases against one another. You gotta understand when we're being played, people. That's basically the moral of the story. We gotta know when we're being played. I'm not saying that this incident was staged. I don't have any reason to hang my hat on that. But what I am saying is how it was released to the public definitely paints a certain picture that is disingenuous to the situation at hand. We do not know what happened, but they made sure that they released footage that would give us an opinion of what happened. I just don't I don't look at that as innocent mistake or just two clips floating around. I don't look at it like that. Maybe it is that, but I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it as yet again another distraction tactic slash social experiment, pin people against one another slash demonstration to make people remind one another that they hate one another, or that there's reason to hate one another, that we used to hate one another, that we're going to hate one another, whatever the hell the hate is about. At the end of the day, those two men shouldn't have been putting their hands on each other, and they both gonna have to face consequences of that. At the end of the day, when you come to work, you do not expect to have your hands have hands put on you. When you go to the airport, you do not expect to have hands put on you. When you're talking about catching a flight, neither one of those individuals should have assaulted one another. Neither one of those individuals should have let that get to that point. I think in the clip that I saw, I think it was very obvious that pride was taking over in both men, particularly the airport guy. Pride was taking over because he was already bloodied up, beat up, concussed, and all that other stuff, and he's still stepping forward toward dude. I don't think that was wisdom speaking in that moment. I think it was pride, and pride cometh before the fall. I know I've said it more than once in this camera lately. I just think that situation, looking at how the both clips ended, since they both ended at the same time, it looked like Brandon Langley was trying his best after throwing about 9 punches to stop the fight. He realized he had gotten the best of this dude. He realized that was not a fair fight. Airport worker was not an athletic dude. He's not he's not a physical person, and obviously Langley, having played in the NFL, that's a cheat code. Anybody that plays in the NFL knows that you going up against a regular soul is not fair. You know that. How y'all train alone ain't gonna be able to, you know, allow for much of an even fight in a situation with a regular body. So that situation right there was bad from the jump. Langley looks bad just off the strength of that. But those two clips are trash, man. Those two clips don't tell us nothing. And I'm too old to trust the second clip. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've been on this earth a little longer than that of somebody who would just say, there's the real clip. No, there's another fragmented clip that shows us a little more than what we knew, but not necessarily anything that tells us what we need to know. And that is what you see in the two clips, not whatever it is that your mind has come to a conclusion of, because I trust you, me, man. There's something that people need to always remember in this conversation about racism, that there is a common enemy to both sides looking to manipulate at all times. You got to know that. You're not the only two people in the room, black and white. You got to remember that. So when people are trying to push y'all around, say, yo, fight him, while they sit back and watch y'all complain about it and collect the plunder off of the fight, understand that person or that entity exists. They don't care about red, white, blue, or green. They care about green, rather. They don't care about black and white. They only care about red, white, and blue. They care about green. That's what I'm trying to express to you. So, know that while we're in this battle, we're trying to figure out who was right and wrong in this situation, or who's right and wrong in all situations that appear racially related. Just remember, there's somebody outside of this conversation that loves this conversation, and they will stir that pot every opportunity they get. It doesn't mean that the subjects don't need to be addressed, but when they get addressed, it's not something that we control, and we need to be aware of that. They tell us when we need to start having these conversations. They let us know via whatever these demonstrations or whatever these vehicles of funneling information to us, however they give it to us. They let us know, okay, it's time for y'all to start fighting about black and white. It's time to start talking about Black Lives Matter and not kneeling. It's time. When it's not time, you won't be talking about it. And that is a pattern. And I think we need to start taking it into consideration. So I wish both men well. Pride, has gotten the best of me too. I'm not better than nobody in that situation. I'm not. Neither one of them. I'm not better than either one of them. But what I will say is, you get to a point where you understand that you gotta make sure you don't get in your own way. When you're living your life and you're having a bad day and you run into somebody who's making that day worse, you gotta remember that as soon as you lash out to them, you are also doing damage to your own self, your own situation, your own purpose. Now, if you have to swallow pride to do that, something's going to hurt. Swallowing the pride is going to hurt, or going forward with that pride. One thing or another is going to hurt in that situation. You might as well let it be the less damaging thing, which in that case is obviously swallowing your pride and letting the legal process take over. If I were either one of those dudes and I was in my right mind, as soon as I felt a punch, I'm going to the ground and I'm crying like a girl, because I'm suing someone. Brandon's getting sued, NFL player, he's going to give me all his money, or American Airlines is getting sued. They're going to give me all their money. Either way, I'm not getting into no altercation in some federal property, also known as the airport. No, that's a problem for me. That's me kicking my own butt. I'm not doing that. I'm going to the ground and I'm going to act like my face has been shot off. And then you're going to pay me millions of dollars and I'm going to go off into the sunset. That's how that has to be played by both parties. Homeboy who did the swinging, who works at the job, if he would have played it that way, he'd never have to work again. He'd be on an island somewhere in a couple weeks. Brandon, the NFL checks stopped coming because you don't work for them no more. The airlines would be paying for that, man. But now you ruin that because you put your hands on homie. There's always a solution, and that solution is a cooler head. Cooler head always gets the money, man. Cooler head always prevails. It's the ones with the pride, sticking their chests out. They're the ones that end up in the worst circumstances. It's something that we've been seeing our entire existence on this earth. At some point in time, we got to start learning these lessons. My name is BDL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.